Hey, how's it going? Welcome to Looplearnings, and this is video number 27 of the series. We are making POS system in Microsoft Access. So if you haven't watched the previous videos, I would strongly recommend you to do so by clicking on the link mentioned in the description below. So I will tell you what we are going to do today, but before that, let me transfer your attention towards the looplearnings.com website, because I have uploaded a work file. Basically this file, the file that we are working on, this Access application, I have uploaded on looplearnings.com. So you can simply go to looplearnings.com, link will be in the description below, sign up to the website, and then click on this tile in order to get into the enrollment page, and click here to enroll yourself, and then you will start your program. Few things, please go through those, and then at the end you will get the POS system original file. I would strongly recommend you to read some of the information I mentioned in here. That's very important. And also please do give your reviews after uploading the file, and those reviews will be on the main page of this course. So if you want this file, the file that I'm actually working on right from the starting of this series until now, you can go ahead to looplearnings.com, enroll in the course, and download the file. Please give out your reviews as well. That will be helpful. It's free of cost, nothing will be charged, so no need to worry about it. Anyway, so let's get started with today's topic. So what we are going to do today, right away, if you notice, I have changed the layout of our dashboard, and I think this layout is much better. We will have little tiles here, and those tiles will showcase the summary of information such as total sale in the current month, and total orders created, total invoice created, and some other information as well. We will perhaps utilize this empty area as well on our dashboard. So there is a lot of work needs to be done on the dashboard, so let's get started. So what we are going to do in today's video is basically I want to build a functionality that when we click on these buttons, something should happen. So that's what we are going to do. We will use VBA, but what should happen? Well, for each button except this button, the first button will be used to create the new sales order right away. So that we will use to create a new sales order, but the other buttons we will do the VBA coding to basically, let me go to the design view of this, basically to open the dynamic form. Remember a couple of videos back we made this little form, and there is a reason it is called dynamic form. This form's content changes according to whatever we wish to do. So basically we are going to use VBA code, we are going to use SQL statements, and we are going to assign the row source to this little form to fetch the information from the database and replicate here on our dynamic form, so we can do some work around it. So that's what we are going to do in today's tutorial. Okay, so let's get started. And before we get started, as you know, the first thing I would like to do is that I would like to copy the error handling form. So not form, the code blocks for error handling. Okay, right, so let's go to the first button. The first button will be used to create a new sales order. So basically when we click on this button, we want this order form to be opened, and to be opened in the new data, right? It should be empty, nothing should be here. So that's what we want to do. Okay, So we'll go to the event tab and then we'll click on ... or ellipsis code builder, and we will paste the error handling code first on error resume next. Okay, we want to build one logic basically, and that logic will be if nobody has logged on to this system or database, then none of these buttons should work, right? They should give error that, hey, first you have to log on to the application and then you can use these operations. So that's the logic we want to build. So therefore we will say if me dot txt empid dot value. So basically if is null, with that's what we should use. If is null, me dot txt dot id or value is equal to true, then to cmd dot beep message box, this action cannot be performed, please log on to proceed further. So that's the first logic we want to build. VB critical and information. Okay, alrighty. If that is false, then we should go ahead and actually create a new sales order and basically open this order form. So we will do cmd dot open form. Which form we have to give name? So form name is order F, comma, and we want to open it in the property setting should be AC form add, because we want to add a new record. Okay, so that's what we want to do, and then we will say end if. Okay, that is it. That's a little code to create a new sales order. Now let's move forward and do VB coding for this button, and this button, as I said, except this button, for all the buttons. Oops, what happened? Okay, so I did position to back. I messed up here. All right, anyway, this happened. So, and except this button, rest of all the buttons, what we want is that whenever somebody clicks on any of this button, dynamic form should open, but dynamic form should display the information related to what button user has clicked. So for example, if user has clicked view all sales orders, so this dynamic form should show all the existing sales order that are created already in the database, right? If user has clicked on view all invoices, then this dynamic form content should be changed to invoices information. If user clicks on, for example, view and manage employees, then this dynamic forms content should change to the information related to employees. So that's why it is called a dynamic form, because with one form we are actually using one form for multiple purposes. So that's why I call it dynamic form. So let's go ahead and do the coding behind the first button, right? View all sales order. So we'll go to the event tab and ... or ellipsis code builder, and first of all we will copy and paste the error handling on error resume next. Okay, so basically we'll put the exact same logic. So I'm going to copy this. Okay, same logic for all the buttons, because for all the buttons we want user to log on first. Well, that will rarely happen. In fact, it will never happen that user will be able to access this dashboard form. But in any case, you know, user might be a smart and they might get into the system without logging on. So this should never work. Okay, so that's the logic behind it. Alrighty, so you check that logic, and after that you go ahead and do the VBA coding. So first first action we want to do is to open dynamic form. Okay, that's the first thing we want to do. So we'll say do cmd dot open form, and then we will give the name of form called dynamic f. So that's the name of form, dynamic f. Okay, once this form is opened, then what should happen? Right now we have opened the form. What next? Well, we want this text box to be filled in, this button, the caption of this button to be changed, and we want some sort of information in this particular list box. Okay, so that's what we want. And to do that, first thing we will do is we will insert some value here. We will see now viewing, basically if we are opening the sales orders. So now viewing the sales order, because when this form will open at that particular stage, you are opening the sales order record. So therefore now viewing should say sales orders, right? You will get to know what I'm trying to say here is. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So we'll say forms dynamic f exclamation mark. What is the name of this? txt now viewing. So we'll just type it in here, txt now viewing. You know what, let's copy this, since just to avoid an error. I don't want to get any error. So that's why I'm very careful. Dot value is equal to sales order. By the way, the information will change in this text box based on what button user has clicked on, so just keep in mind. The other thing we want to do is change the caption of this button. At the moment the captions is only create, but what create? So if this text box is showing sales order, then this button should show create sales order, right? So we'll say forms dynamic f, then btn, what's the name of this button? btn create is equal to btn create dot caption, because we are changing the caption. Caption should equal to create sales order. Okay, so basically you're not only giving option to user to create order from here, but you are giving option to user to create order even from your dynamic form if the user is already here. So user doesn't have to go back to the main form, and therefore you are giving this option to the user to create form from here. Okay, now we have changed the caption of the button. We have inserted in this text box that it's a sales order. Now we want basically the data to be appeared here. Well, data from where? We want data to be appeared from the orders table. So some of this information we want to be replicated here in the dynamic form. So let's go ahead and do that. And how we are going to do? We are going to basically assign a row source. So if I'll go to the data, you'll see here row source. So we are going to assign row source to this particular list box. So we'll say forms dynamic f, and then the name of this list box is dynamic list dot row source. Okay, so row source. And now we are going to use the select statement, the SQL statement, to fetch the information from this table. So let's use that. So we'll say select what? Well, we want order num, that's the field. Select order num, comma, what else? Order date, comma, what else? Order type, okay, comma, order total, comma net RSP, comma we want status. Okay, so the idea and the beauty of using the select statement in the SQL is that you can fetch the information that you desire, right? Other than that, you don't have to worry about anything else. So that's the beauty of SQL statement. That's what I like about it. Now we have to tell from which table. Well, from orders. Okay, all right, so we have fetched the information and we have replicated on this list box. Now what next? Well, we want to, at the moment, if I will run this code, it will show me only one column, but in fact there are how many columns? 1 2 3 4 5 6. There are 6 columns that we will have to define the width of each column, right? So at the moment the list box will have only one column, but we want 6 columns to be appeared because we want all of this data or information on our list box. And how do we do that? Well, it's quite simple. Forms dynamic f dynamic list dot column count. So we are basically telling Microsoft Access, hey, the column count is how many columns. So how do we know how many columns? Well, simply from here. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. So we are fetching the 6 different type of information from orders table. Therefore the column count will be 6 as well. Okay, hope you have understood. Right, so next, forms dynamic I'm always worried about my spelling mistakes. And exclamation mark dynamic list dot column heads. So we want column heads to be appeared as well. Now what are column heads? Well, if you know, it's kind of heading. So basically the heading of each column, so it will be easy for user to see what information is being displayed on the list box. So that's why the column heads has to be turned to true. Okay, after that we have to define the column width as well. So we have 6 columns, right? We have 6 columns, and therefore for each column we have to define the width, and that we can do it. So we'll say forms exclamation mark dynamic f exclamation mark dynamic list dot column width with s. Okay, don't forget this s, otherwise it will give you an error. Okay, because we have 6 columns, that's why we have to use column widths with s. There's one column width that is only for one column. Okay, but if your list box has multiple columns, then you have to use column width with s. Remember that. So the first column width we will give is 1 inch. Second column would be our order date. Order date column has time as well, so we'll make it a little bit bigger. So we'll give 2 inch width. Next column we have order type. We will give 1.5 inch perhaps. Next we have order total, and that we will give 1.5 inch again. And then order total, after order total we have net RSP, we will give 1.5 inch again. Status will give 1.5 inch again. So 1 2 3 4 5 6. So all the columns have the width as well. So I think that is it. We can do a lot more with this, but I think for now this is enough. Okay, let's just test it out before we proceed further, just to make sure that there are no errors. Okay, all right, let's go to the form here. So let me try to do something without logging in, and rest assured you get an order, you get an error. This action cannot be performed, please log on to proceed further. If I click here, this gives the same error message. So pretty good, that's what we wanted. So let's go ahead and log on first, and then we can perform this action. So I will enter in, okay, that's one extra E, and right, looks like, I don't know, my computer is messing up today actually. All right, now we are logged on. Now if I click here, and this should work, and the form should open in the blank add mode, but we don't want to create any sales order at the moment. We just want to see whether the dynamic form will open or not. So I'll click here, and boom, rest assured we have opened the dynamic form. And you can see here we have now viewing sales order. The button caption also changed to create sales order, and we have the information related to the order, and it's coming from the order table. Now you can use this, for example, if you have hundreds of orders, you can use the search functionality to check like 1000, order number 1010. You can check, we will build that functionality later on, but that's the purpose of doing coding behind all of these buttons. Okay, so let's go ahead and do the rest of the buttons, but to speed up I'm going to copy and paste. Okay, but if you are learning, I would recommend you to, strongly recommend you by the way, to actually do not use copy and paste. Just make sure that you write your code with your hand, so that will go in your memory, in your mind, so you don't have to, you know, struggle later on. Now let's do the coding for the invoices. So I'll click here on ... Remember, I just copy pasted the code, but it's not over. We have to change the information such as we want to change the caption, not caption, the text box information such as in dynamic form from sales order to invoices, and from creating sales order we want to change it to create invoice. Okay, and then we want to fetch the information about from the invoice table. So we'll see here there is invoice, so we'll say invoice ID, order date. So I'll choose this invoice ID, order date, oh sorry, invoice date, not the order date, invoice date. Okay, then we have order number, and that would be order num. Then we have order total, next is order total. Okay, fine, net RSP, and then we have status as well. Well, if you want rest of the information, let's say if you want discount information, if you want balance information, if you want verified by, verified on, paid by, mobile, you can have as much information as possible. I'm just demonstrating to you. If you want to add some more columns, you can certainly do so, but make sure that you change the column count when you're adding more column, or when you are adding less columns. For example, in some like product categories may not have 6 columns, it may have 2 or 3 columns. So make sure that you change the column count accordingly. Okay, otherwise it is going to give you errors certainly. So, but just to keep the simplicity, I'm just keeping the 6 for now for the invoices as well. But make sure that you change the information so it's not going to give you an error. Invoices, so not from order, but we want from invoices. Okay, but rest of the code will remain same. That's how you speed up your development process. Now next we will see the view and manage the available products. So we'll go to the event tab, click ... on click event we are going to build. We'll paste here and then we will choose exact same, but this time because we are looking at products, so we will change the text box to products. Okay, and then we will say create product. That's the caption of the button. And now we will fetch the information from products table. So what we will have, first we will have product ID. So let's have product ID. Then we'll have product name, okay, all right. Then we will have, let's leave the category here. Let's go and check the, we don't want to show the purchase price to the user, so we'll just keep RSP. That's what we want to show. Okay, after that we want to show the net RSP. Okay, net RSP. After that we want to show the status. Okay, so this time we have only 5 columns, so therefore we are going to change the column count to 5. 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, but we are fetching this information not from orders table but from products table. Products. Okay, and now we will change the width of the second column. Why? Because product name, and if you know, product name can be bigger, so we are going to increase the width of the second column, which will hold our product name. So let's say we will give a name, we'll give the width of 3.5 inches. Okay, that will be probably too much, but we will see. All right, and later on we can come and adjust. Maybe some columns may require the width to be decreased, and that can be done later on. That's not a problem at all. You can see what will be the suitable width according to the data which is being displayed. But anyhow, that is done, and then remaining will be done in exact same manner. So I think I will do it offline. I don't want to, you know, make you bored with this long video, but the concept I hope you have understood. So let's go ahead and test it out, the code that we have done till now. Let me log on. Okay, righty, so we have seen sales order. You can see here at the moment it is showing sales order, and it is showing create sales order, the caption of the button, and the dynamic form list is showing the information from the orders table. Now let's click on invoices. Apologies for the background noises, guys. If you will see invoices, we are getting the information from invoice table, right? We have invoice ID, invoice date, order number, order total, net RSP, and what is the status of invoice. Now viewing has changed from sales order to invoices, and the button caption has changed from create sales order to create invoice. So let's click on the next button. Whoa, we have a enter a parameter value error here, so we might have done a mistake. So what was that mistake? Let's go ahead and check it out. Okay, so product name, perhaps we have an issue here. So we'll open the products table. Oh, it's only product, not the product name, so that's why it was giving an error. By the way, somebody has sent me an email also showing the similar kind of error. So if you happen to have the similar kind of error, please make sure that you correct it the way I have corrected. So instead of product name, the field name is only product. That's why it is asking, the SQL statement is asking, hey, I don't seems to find product name, so That's why I'm giving you error. Okay, let's just test it out again. All right, so we'll click on view and manage available products, and boom, rest assured we don't have that error anymore. So this time, if you will see, now viewing has changed to product from invoices. The button caption has changed to create product from create invoice, and then the information is being fetched from the table that is related to product information. So that's about it. I hope you have learned something in this video. I really like this dynamic form. When I tried it first time, I had this idea that, hey, why not have only one form, and then we can change the information dynamically on that form. And I was able to get to this kind of solution. So I like it. I hope you like it also. If you have learned something, please do let me know in the comments below, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed yet, and hit the bell icon so you get notification whenever I upload a new video. Like this video if you like this content, and share it with others too. That would be great. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.